Now we want to get to our Megan Hickey. She was in the courtroom, Megan, I believe, if that's correct, as this verdict was read. Would love to know the reaction as you get set up there from R. Kelly himself as he heard this verdict.
Right. Hi, Jim and Marie. Yes, I was in the courtroom. As you can see, R. Kelly's attorney over here right now. We're not sure if she's going to speak in a few minutes, but if she does, we might have to switch gears. We did just watch Milton Brown leave the courthouse. Also, Daryl McDavid heading out as well. But what I can tell you about when I was in the courtroom, we got in there right at about 4. The judge said that they had come. Oh, looks like they're actually going to speak right now. So I'm going to hold pause on this for a second as we get ready for R. Kelly's attorney to speak about the verdict. She's walking up to the podium.
Megan, thank you. We are watching this camera shot here from the Dirksen. This is where reporters, media of all kinds have been camped out for the duration of this trial. Again, we are waiting to hear from R. Kelly's attorney in just a minute, so we'll stay with this until we hear from him.
So again, R. Kelly convicted on 6 of 13 counts, and let's listen to the attorneys now.
Come here. Yeah, come here. You guys come. Yeah. So yes, today we are finally putting closure on a chapter in a lot of people's lives, including Mr. Kelly's. At least I hope. We still have some business in Cook County to deal with. And today, frankly, as you know, there was a mixed verdict, but we won more counts than we lost. And what is reassuring about this, and something that I have been fighting for and was fighting for from the beginning, is that if this jury concluded that he was guilty on the first 3 counts, would they care enough to consider the evidence on the rest? And they demonstrated that they did. And they did their job. They looked at each count separately, and they obviously concluded, as I concluded long ago, as this case was overcharged. The government wanted to, as I said during my closing arguments, be greedy, and they charged counts they couldn't win and that they shouldn't have. And now, and not just, as to Mr. Kelly, but obviously the co-defendants. So I wouldn't imagine they're celebrating right now, and they shouldn't be. They should go back and figure out, whether their approach to this case was the right one. So this, again, obviously, it's not, we're not celebrating a win entirely, but we are happy that the jury really did look at each count. And as I said in my closing arguments, each count counts. They did their job, and we ended up with 7 not guilty counts in a 13 count, right? 7?
Yeah.
7 not guilty counts in a 13 count indictment. So, listen, Mr. Kelly is used to bad news. He has a 30-year sentence, which is egregious and excessive in my view, out of New York in a case that never should have been charged the way it was charged. So, he's still got many fights to fight. But what he did say is that he had a sense of relief that this particular case was not in the future, it was in the past now. And he had a sense of relief, and that probably would have been whatever way it came out, but I think he is relieved to have this behind him.
Will you be appealing?
Yes, of course. We have some issues that we believe are appealable issues, meritorious appealable issues. I don't know that I'm ready to talk about all of them, but there's a couple that come to mind. So.
Do you expect the county to go forward with their case?
I can't speak to what they will do there, but they got their guilty. They got it. They got the guilty verdicts on the first 3 counts of this indictment, which is the child pornography counts. So I'm not exactly sure what they'd want to go forward on, but we'll find out. We'll find out. We'll take them. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What's the credibility of the witnesses?
Well, obviously, incredibly. So. The jury did not believe Chuck Freeman. The jury did not believe Lisa Allen. The jury did not, did I say that? Lisa Van Allen, right. Yeah. The jury did not believe Tracy. The jury did not accept that you could charge an indictment and not even bring a witness in, that being Brittany, which was really offensive in my view. You're going to charge someone with serious offenses that carry serious time, and you don't even think you have to bring that witness in to tell what happened. So those are all, to me, good signs, but credibility was everything.
David and Brown were charged, get them to roll over.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's how the government rolls. That's how they roll. They don't even believe in their own evidence, so they need to put pressure on other people to try to get them to flip. That's exactly what happened, and I'm glad they got it, but that didn't work out for them.
Was R. Kelly prosecuted on television in this case? Surviving R. Kelly documentary?
Well, yes, R. Kelly has been prosecuted in the media since 2000, since really Surviving R. Kelly. It's been a nonstop proposition, and Surviving R. Kelly is really the reason there were these federal prosecutions, where the federal governments have really, and I don't know that people understand how creative and how aggressive the charging has been to get around statutes of limitations here, and that was all driven by Surviving R. Kelly. So I mean, I don't know. I guess the power of the media is very strong. The problem is that Surviving R. Kelly, as you all realize, probably if you've ever seen it, is that the stars of Surviving R. Kelly, one of them, Lisa Van Allen, was found not credible once you brought her into court. Andrea Kelly, who was, not a witness in this case, but she certainly was mentioned in, I would say, unflattering light throughout this trial. She was one of the big stars of Surviving R. Kelly. So, it should go to show you these docuseries, it's not the same as a court of law in the adversarial process.
And you had mentioned that your client was injured.
Yeah,
Any more detail about that?
Yeah, he had even before he left the MDC in Brooklyn, he had injured his leg, and I don't know exactly how. As you may have noticed, he's kind of been limping in and out of the courtroom here and there. And it hasn't really gotten better, so we're hoping that he doesn't have to make the long trip back to New York for the restitution hearing, which is going to be next.
You mentioned that he said he feels relief that this case is behind him.
Yeah.
Did he mention to you any remorse regarding the counts and the conviction?
So listen, I'm not going to talk about my, those types of conversations I have with my client. You can come to sentencing and judge for yourself, because I'm sure he will. Well, I'm not sure, but he may have something to say there. I will say this about my client, and I think it's often overlooked. And I begged the jury to remember that he's a human being, and I think they did. This is a man who had a very, very difficult childhood and had incredible trauma that was never resolved because he became a superstar very young, and there were not people surrounding him that wanted to get him the help to treat the trauma that he had. Okay, and so I think we can't lose sight of that going into a sentencing hearing. It was something I emphasized in New York. So, I think there's going to be a sentencing hearing here, obviously, and there'll be more to say about those things.
Can you?
We've been listening in to the attorneys for R. Kelly reacting after he was found guilty on 6 counts in his federal trial. Some of those guilty verdicts: production of child pornography, also coercing a minor. But you're hearing from the attorneys there what they're calling it a mixed verdict, as there were 7 where he was found not guilty.
Well, she clearly is trying to put a good spin on it, that he was not convicted on all the counts, that he's relieved that this part of his situation is behind him right now.